Imagine that you're at home after a long day of work, but your mind is still in the office. The tasks for the next day, the deadlines that are approaching, the messages that keep coming to your phone. You even try to relax, maybe watch a movie or read a book, but something inside you won't let you. Your mind is trapped in work mode, as if you never turned off a switch. Welcome to the era of hyperconnectivity. It has never been so difficult to disconnect, and it has never been so essential for our mental health. Today, we will explore how work has invaded all areas of our lives and what we can do to regain control over our time, our minds, and most importantly, our well-being. Get ready for a journey of self-discovery, where we will understand the damage that excessive work and lack of disconnection are causing to our mental health, and most importantly, how we can change this situation. Let's begin.
Work doesn't end when the workday is over.
Not long ago, work had a clear beginning and end. When the clock struck 6 p.m., it was time to disconnect, go home, and live your personal life. But technology changed that. Today, with smartphones, laptops, and the internet, the office follows us wherever we go. The lines between work and personal life have blurred, and for many, the workday never truly ends. And this comes at a cost. Constant connection to work means we never have the chance to fully disconnect. Our minds are always thinking about what needs to be done, about what was left unfinished. This creates a state of constant alertness, which affects our ability to relax, rest, and eventually leads to mental exhaustion. When we can't separate work from personal life, we are not only sacrificing our free time, we are sacrificing our mental health.
The impact of overwork on mental health.
Overwork affects the brain in profound ways. When we are constantly connected to work, stress levels rise, and the brain begins to release excess cortisol, the stress hormone. This affects our ability to make rational decisions, impairs our memory, and makes it harder to control our emotions. Have you ever found yourself getting irritated over small things after a long day of work? Have you had trouble remembering simple details or concentrating on a conversation? That's stress taking its toll. Chronic stress caused by overwork can lead to anxiety, depression, insomnia, and even physical illnesses like high blood pressure and heart problems. Ironically, the more we try to do it all, the less productive we become. Overwork puts us in a cycle of exhaustion where each day we have less energy and less capacity to accomplish what we need to do.
The need to disconnect. What science tells us.
Science is clear. We need time to rest and recover. Our brains are not made to be constantly switched on. Disconnecting from work is essential for it to process the information accumulated throughout the day and prepare for new challenges. Studies show that people who manage to mentally disconnect from work during their free time have lower stress levels, greater overall well-being, and paradoxically, are more productive when they return to work. This is because the brain needs time to reset. During these periods of rest, the areas of the brain related to creativity and problem-solving are activated, allowing us to find new ideas and solutions more effectively. On the other hand, when we don't allow ourselves to disconnect, the brain goes into overload. We become more prone to making mistakes, to making poor decisions, and to feeling emotionally drained. Therefore, disconnecting is not just a luxury, it's a biological necessity.
How work invades our personal time.
The problem isn't just the excessive hours of work. The problem is that, even outside of working hours, we are always on. This is what experts call workplace spillover, meaning when work invades other aspects of life. With the pandemic and the massive adoption of remote work, this phenomenon intensified. For many people, the physical space between home and work disappeared, and with it, the psychological boundary. Working from home, while it has its advantages, also means that many times we are on call all the time, and the expectation of being available to answer emails or messages at any time of day or night has become common. But to protect our mental health, we need to establish clear boundaries.
Signs that you need to disconnect urgently.
Do you feel like you're constantly exhausted, even after a good night's sleep? Do you have trouble concentrating or staying focused on a single task? Do you notice that you're always thinking about work, even when you're with family or friends? These are clear signs that your mind isn't able to disconnect from work. Other signs include Constant irritability, when any small annoyance at work or at home results in emotional outbursts. Anxiety, a constant feeling of worry about work, even when there is no immediate reason. Insomnia, difficulty sleeping or waking up in the middle of the night. Thinking about work-related problems or tasks. Loss of interest in hobbies or activities you once enjoyed. Work consumes so much energy that there's little left for anything else. If you recognize these signs, it's time to stop and reflect. Your body and mind are asking for a break.
Strategies for disconnecting from work.
Disconnecting isn't easy, especially in a world that demands constant productivity and quick responses. However, it is possible and necessary to adopt strategies that help establish healthy boundaries between work and personal life. 1. Set fixed times for work and rest. Determine a time to start and end your workday and respect those boundaries. This helps your brain understand that after a certain point, it's time to switch off. 2. Turn off notifications. Constant notifications from emails and work apps are one of the main enemies of disconnection. At the end of the workday, turn off work-related notifications. Let your colleagues and bosses know that you won't be available outside of working hours, except in emergencies. 3. Create a dedicated workspace. If you work from home, it's essential to create a separate physical space for work. When the workday is over, leave that space as if you were leaving the office. 4. Make time for enjoyable activities. Fill your free time with activities that truly bring you joy and relaxation. It could be practicing a hobby, spending time with family, or simply taking a walk outdoors. These activities help recharge your energy. 5. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a powerful technique to bring your mind back to the present instead of constantly worrying about work. Practicing meditation for a few minutes throughout the day can help reduce stress and increase mental clarity.
The power of rest in productivity.
Many of us believe that resting is a waste of time, especially when we're in an environment that values hard work. But the reality is that proper rest improves our productivity. When we allow ourselves to disconnect and truly rest, we return to work with more focus, creativity, and problem-solving ability. In fact, some of the greatest minds in history, like Albert Einstein and Leonardo da Vinci, were advocates of rest. They believed that moments of disconnection and relaxation were essential for finding creative and innovative solutions. Science supports this idea. Studies show that the brain is more efficient when we alternate between periods of intense concentration and periods of rest. This means that, instead of trying to work non-stop, it's more productive to take regular breaks and disconnect at the end of the day.
How disconnecting can improve your personal relationships.
Work doesn't just affect our mental health, it also affects our relationships. When we are constantly connected to work, we don't have the energy to connect with the people around us. This can lead to problems in romantic relationships, with friends, and even with children. Disconnecting from work allows us to be more present in our relationships. We can listen better, pay more attention, and truly engage with others. This not only improves the quality of our relationships, but also gives us the opportunity to recharge emotionally.
The challenge of disconnecting in a connected world.
We live in a world where being productive and always available is celebrated. Technology offers us incredible tools, but it has also created the expectation that we must always be accessible, always ready to respond to a message or solve a problem. Disconnecting requires a change in mindset. It's about understanding that your mental health and well-being are more important than replying to an email at 10 p.m. It's about setting boundaries and clearly communicating those boundaries to colleagues and bosses. The challenge is real, but it's also possible. Disconnecting doesn't mean being less committed to your work. In fact, by disconnecting properly, you are preparing yourself to be more efficient and healthier when you're at work.
How disconnecting can save your career.
It may seem contradictory, but disconnecting from work can be the key to saving your career in the long term. Professionals who fail to disconnect end up burned out and losing the passion for what they do. Burnout becomes inevitable, and the result can be stepping away or even abandoning a career that once brought satisfaction. By disconnecting, you are preserving your energy, your creativity, and your motivation. This allows you to continue growing and evolving in your career rather than becoming a victim of overwork.
Regaining your mental health.
Disconnecting from work isn't a luxury, it's a necessity to protect your mental and emotional health. In a world that values productivity above all else, it is essential that we learn to set boundaries, allow ourselves to rest, and prioritize self-care. Remember, your value isn't just in what you do, but also in how you take care of yourself. Disconnecting is the key to maintaining balance, preserving your health, and ultimately being happier and more fulfilled.